Penguin Random House Audio presents The Stone Loves the World by Brian Hall. Read for you by Mark Bramhall, Jennifer Damon, Emma Galvin, Kaleo Griffith, and Saskia Maarleveld. The thrushes sing as the sun is going, and the finches whistle in ones and pairs. And as it gets dark, loud nightingales in bushes pipe, as they can when April wears, as if all time were theirs. These are brand new birds of 12 months growing, which a year ago were less than twain. No finches were, nor nightingales, nor thrushes, but only particles of grain, and earth, and air, and rain. Thomas Hardy. Part 1.
Tuesday, February 16th, 2016. Feeling like a freak, she almost ran out of the office, rode the B-62 home to pack her bare minimum shit, hopped the G and the E, and here she is under the sign of the dog. Where to? The lean animal devours miles on the wall behind the bored woman's head. 10 customer service windows, 2 open. Possible combinations of 2 from a set of 10 is 45. 4 times 5 is 20. Largest prime number less than 20 is 19. 19th letter is S. Seattle. Seattle, Washington? Is there another one? I meant that's a long trip. Woman is smiling. Probably pointless friendliness. Depends what you're comparing it to. Can I get a ticket to Saturn? Now a puzzled look. Never mind. The woman, like a skee-ball machine, produces a chain of tickets, Z-folds, and hands them over. Liquid scarlet, inch-long artificial nails. Gold ring on 4th finger with bulky ruby, or rhodolite garnet, or chromium paste. The gleam of it is terribly distracting. She takes the ticket, finds the gate. There's no such thing as luck, but the next departure is only 70 minutes away. First stop, Baltimore. The narrow sprung device bolted to the wall is deliberately designed to be uncomfortable. This fucking world. So she unrolls her pad and settles on the floor. The tiled wall is white, with a black border cutting in at the corners to isolate white squares. Very common. There must be a name for it. She Googles, finds nothing. She would take out her Newman, but can't concentrate. Well, she certainly fucked up everything, didn't she? Instead of escaping on the bus, she could escape under it. They're everywhere in the city. Just wait at a corner and launch yourself so that the 2 vectors of motion intersect. She envisions the shining wall of white steel and glass, humping up and over, then gulping as the driver hits the brakes too late. Windshield wipers like praying hands. Brainless bystanders screaming, fainting. Most people call this ideation. Mathematicians call it doing a Ramanujan. So why doesn't she? Cowardice? A man waiting in line at the next gate keeps looking at her. 20s, scruffy beard, skinny jeans, dun winter jacket. She wants to inform him the reason you have skin is so that you will always know where you end and the rest of the world begins. Nature provides this service free of charge. He should read Wishner. Everyone should read Wishner. From the Eastern chipmunk, we have learned the lesson of how an animal survives and prospers by minding its own business. Ambling to the corner, minding her own business. The city where no one notices you. The bus approaching. Forearm across her eyes. Goodbye, cruel world. Maybe it's not cowardice that's stopping her, but a modicum of dignity. Too dramatic. Too public. Calling attention to herself. The way her mother likes to do. She has never needed anyone, witnesses included. A concealing cornfield, and a combine harvester. A long-abandoned vat of acid in a crumbling factory in the Rust Belt. A turnout in the Cascades with a spectacular view. What she needs is a little time to think.
1965 to 1976. When Mark was 5 years old, his parents took him and his older sister to the New York World's Fair. They stayed in a dark house that belonged to some lady his mother knew. The front yard sloped down to a busy street. During the boring evenings when they talked, his parents seemed to think he would play in this yard. But he could see. The smallest stumble, and he'd roll faster, fall, flailing, and die under screeching tires. On the way to the fair, subway doors opened and closed automatically. The family entering a car could be sliced in two. Parents and older sister in the accelerating train looking back at the orphaned 5-year-old on the platform. The fair was bright and hot. His mother called it sweltering, which made him think uneasily of swimming in sweat. There was a big metal earth called the Unisphere. It had 3 rings that his dad said represented satellites named Echo, Telstar 1, and Telstar 2. His dad said the theme of the fair was peace through understanding, and both of his parents laughed. Mark sat with his mother in a boat that floated through the Disney pavilion, while puppets twirled, clacked, and sang, "It's a small, small world." When they sang, their faces split in half. Mark liked the igloos. Everyone was eating Belgian waffles. They were big, fluffy seat cushions with pits to hold all the strawberries and syrup and whipped cream Mark wanted. He flapped his arms. His father told him to pipe down. In the sweltering heat, on a stretch of bright sidewalk, he vomited up a Belgian waffle. The Ferris wheel was like a big automobile tire. Susan rocked the gondola, but Mark was scared and Dad told her to stop. There was a time capsule that would be opened in 5,000 years. There were long lines in the glare. He held his mother's hand while Susan fidgeted in and out of the line, and he worried that a man in uniform would appear and announce that she had lost her place, and they would all have to go to the end of the line, and it would be her fault, but she would never admit it. Mark loved the ramps, which rose in curvy sweeps and sweepy curves, like flight paths of whisper jets taking off. There were escalators, monorails, elevators, cable cars, floating seats, rising stands. "Man conquers gravity," Susan read from a sign. Pretty corny. Mark fought with her over who could be first to pretend to drive the luxury convertible on the magic skyway. He cried and got his way, because he was younger. Susan was 10 and should know better. The car floated up a ramp and went through the time barrier. Animatronic Triceratops babies broke out of shells. A brontosaurus in a swamp lifted its head, chewing weeds. Then came the dawn of man. Cavemen invented the wheel and fought a mammoth. To Mark's disbelieving delight, one father caveman was rubbing his butt in front of a campfire. Even better was Futurama. Mark climbed on the conveyor belt and drank in the dioramas, while the chair he sat in whispered in his ear about the wonders to come. Transports on balloon wheels served lunar mining colonies. Submarine trains carried riches from the ocean floor. The best came at the end. The city of tomorrow. Streamlined cars moved soundlessly down automated highways. Elevated discs of parkland and arcades led to clean skyscrapers that glowed with yellow squares of rooms and offices. Mark's whole being ached. In first grade, he felt serious and adult. The desks were arranged in a grid. The teacher, Miss Peabody, showed the class
Sample complete. Ready to continue?